Okay, kids. Thought I said something about the BMV here in Defiance the other day. I kind of thought I would chop the next one up into a couple of little segments. I hope I'm getting this. Again, I have no live feed, so I have no idea what I'm actually filming. But this is the local BMV here in Defiance. And today is Sunday, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is what you normally see here on Sundays. Big old open parking lot. So every now and then you'll see somebody here practicing. Sometimes you'll see a kid with a car. You see a motorcycle here every now and then. To be honest, I don't see as many people as I'd like to see out here. Just for grins and giggles. One should be running through the course. Just for fun. Just for fun. See if you can remember what it's like. Or if you're new, you should definitely be practicing it. I talked to the examiner here a couple of years ago, and we discussed, basically I was in here during business hours, but it was later in the evening and there wasn't a lot of cars here. They were mostly right up by the front of the building, and I thought, well, no harm, no foul. I can go ahead and practice, right? And he basically said, hey, bud, I've seen you out here before, and I appreciate what you're doing, but we'd like to not have anybody practicing out here during business hours. He's like, but feel free to come out on Sunday. And he said, and then the whole parking lot is yours, cones, whatever you want to do. I said, okay. So basically, that was the instruction. So I just wanted to show you, the parking, the testing area is over there, and we'll ride by it real quick. But again, you've got all this space to do all kinds of stuff, and I've brought people out here before to practice, and almost I can think of maybe twice. I don't want to say it got cut short, but it did get interrupted by somebody showing up wanting, they wanted to do some practice too, and it's like, well, okay, we're done anyway. Let's go check them out. So I just thought you'd like to see it. And I come through here twice, probably a month, 2 to 3 times a month. You don't have to. It's good to kind of zip through there and just check your skill level. And I don't do the high speed stops. I do those on my own little area. But I do I'll do the turn from a stop, and I'll do the slalom, and I'll do the U-turn, just to make sure, hey, how am I doing? So if you've been to any testing facility in the state of Ohio, they pretty much look like this. We've got our start tees and our 90-degree turn from a stop box. We've got our panic box, I don't know, whatever they call that thing. Then we've got our U-turn, and then we've got our stop box. Every maneuver you're supposed to come to a stop. So I just thought you'd want to see that. Like I said, if you're in Ohio and you're looking for a place to come and test, this is a pretty good spot because there's not a lot of volume here. And I've heard other people say that trying to get in to go get tested is like, it's really difficult. It's not here anyway. So anyway, quick video. Just thought I'd let you know. Defiance, Ohio, good place to go take a test. Nice and quiet. Okay, little audio. We're testing this out. I've got a rant. I'm ready for it. A couple different things I want to talk about because I've seen a lot of people screwing this up. There's one right there. You see a vehicle on the right shoulder? Get over to the left. I kind of think that was a no-brainer, but apparently not. So I'd like to talk a little bit about driving on the highway. Listen, most people that are going to stumble across this, they've been driving for a really long time. Probably not going to teach them much. However, maybe listen, you might learn something new. I don't know. So feel free to go piss up a rope, I guess, if you want to. I've taught a lot of people how to drive, and I was a commercial driving instructor and a commercial driver for almost 20 years. So, take it for what it's worth. And I've got a lot of miles. I'm sure there's more people out there, or there's people out there with more than me, but that's not really the point. The point is, why do we do some of the things that we do, especially when we're talking about the fact that we're sharing the roadway as motorcyclists, car drivers, and commercial truck drivers. And there's all kinds of different commercial trucks. The one in front of me is a Class 8, 80,000 pounds. It's a pretty common one, 30-foot trailer. They're big. They have a job to do. And there's a lot of misconceptions about them. And I want to clear up at least a few of them right now. So, as far as from a motorcyclist aspect, if you're not familiar, you get out on the freeway, you might notice that there's a little bit of wind, and I've got a fixed fairing on this motorcycle, and we're catching a lot of buffeting, so the turbulent air that's coming around that truck and trailer in front of me, it's just vortexing around. I don't have the editing skills or creativity skills to show you what it's doing, but I can kind of visualize it. And it's just turbulent air. And that's what's kind of smacking us around a little bit. So we really don't want to spend a whole lot of time behind him if we can avoid it. The other thing is, right now, he cannot see me. I cannot see his mirrors. I am close enough to the back of that truck. He cannot see me. Now, what he may be able to see is my shadow right down there. He might be able to see that. So he may know that I'm back here. But depending on the lighting conditions, where the sun's at, what time of day it is, all that good stuff, that driver probably has no idea that I'm back here except for that shadow. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get out and get around him. And when I go to get around him, I'm not going to go all the way over to the left. I'm going to put myself right here to the right side of the lane because I want them to be able to see me in that mirror. If somebody were to come onto that ramp and he needed to get over, and he might not, if I'm way over here, if I'm way over on the left side of the lane, he may not see me. Now, once I get up by him, I'm not going to linger. Those tires he has, that's about 100 psi in each tire. Moving over a little bit. Appreciate it, driver. So I don't want to sit there dilly-dallying next to those wheels. Just to give you a little clue, when mechanics change those in a shop, they put those things inside of a big steel cage so that if something were to happen while they were inflating it, as it's a dangerous time, there's something to protect them from the flying rubber and debris. I have seen a man get his jaw broken by a truck tire that exploded outside of a cage area. And I know another guy that saw pretty much the same thing, and they had to get an ambulance in both cases, and it's not pretty. So that's just some things to remember. We don't dilly-dally next to a semi. They need to maneuver. They may not know you're there, but I wanted to definitely clear up the thing about the mirrors. They cannot see you behind them. A good way to do it is just go to a Walmart parking lot, and truckers sleep in there a lot, and go behind their truck and see how far you've got to back up behind their trailer before you can see one of their mirrors. And that gives you a pretty good idea about how far you have to be behind them to see it. It's gonna differ depending on the length of the trailer and what type of truck it is and all that good stuff. But tanker might be a little bit smaller around, a little bit shorter. They may be able to see you at a closer distance to the back of that trailer. But for the most part, a big box trailer like that, they can't see you. So if your shadow's not sticking out far enough, that's the only indicator they've got, at least during the day. Clearly at night, they're going to see your headlight. They know something's behind them, but they don't know exactly what. So that brings us to the next point, is the speed. I'm not going to tell people how to ride their motorcycle or how not to ride their motorcycle. I'm going to tell you what's a bad idea. I'm going to tell you what probably doesn't work as well. You do you. You want to yeet yourself into the sun, you go right ahead. I'm not going to stop there or try to. I just want you to own it when something goes wrong. Don't blame it on something else. Speed and alcohol are a factor in 75% of fatal crashes. End of story. That's it. So, and those aren't my numbers. Those are the professionals' numbers. So, why is the speed so critical? Well, there's a lot of different reasons, but in regards to trucks, as a commercial driver in a Class 8 and a person who's ridden a motorcycle for longer than I've been driving trucks. As a driver, I have been through Chicago and had a person, a rider, on a Hayabusa or some other high-performance street bike pass me at 150 miles an hour. between me and the car next to me. I can't tell you how stupid that is. If you want to do it, you go right ahead. But here's the thing. You think it's really cool because you're zipping in and out of traffic. And some of you are dumb enough to think it's cool to scare the crap out of the truck driver and the person in the car. Well, let me tell you what happens, or what could happen, because it's happened. You go blowing through there, if that driver reacts because of the sudden loud noise, and yes, it is sudden and it is loud, because that's how things work. If that driver yanks that wheel, who caused that accident? He's reacting. He heard a loud noise and reacted quickly. And if he yanks it into a busload of nuns, that's on you. You may not get charged with it, but I hope you sleep really well at night knowing you caused an accident like that. You know, those guys are just out there trying to make a buck and, you know, get it back home safe, and you're out there screwing with them. So this is reason, you know, one of the 1,000 reasons why I always say the same thing, and a lot of us agree. Rookie drivers, I used to take students and, you know, 16-year-old students in a car, 15 and a half, and put them up in the seat of a truck, an air seat, just so that they could see what the driver sees and realize how limited the visibility is behind them, and remind them that they're only checking those mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds. So it is very easy for a car to disappear in the field of view of a semi driver. It's even easier for a motorcyclist. And before you say anything, what am I doing right now? And I've been doing it longer than I drove a truck. So I know what I'm talking about. It's very easy to lose a motorcycle in your tiny field of view. When you're driving a Class 8 semi with a 53-foot trailer on it, they go quick. So as the rider, we need to put ourselves in that driver's field of vision. We need to make ourselves visible to them so that they can act accordingly and at least know that you're there. You have no idea what's going on in front of that truck if you're behind them. You can't see around them. You know, you can put yourself over to this side of the lane, but you know, you have no idea what's getting ready to run out in front of them. Or like, okay, here's another really good example. I see people riding, tailgating trucks' butts all the time. Just tailgating in general, but a truck is definitely not a good idea. This is a roll-off in front of me. It's not a huge truck, but it is a truck. And if he straddles something that's to the center or left of the center or right of his lane up there, I am never going to see it until it comes out from underneath his vehicle. So I need the distance to maneuver if something like that happens. He straddles something, I don't see it, and you know, if I don't have time to react, I'm going to hit it, and this is my time to react. The distance between me and him, that's my time to react. If I increase that distance, I have more time. If I decrease that distance, I have less time. It's not really that complicated. So, you know, my dad used to say a lot of things, well, a lot of dumb things, a lot of smart things. He used to say this thing, it used to kind of bug me. When you drive on the razor's edge, you're going to get cut. And it sounded all cryptic and everything, and I was like, that's dumb. And he's not wrong. It might have been an odd way of saying it, but he's not wrong. When you're running yourself right up to the limit and you're not giving yourself enough time to react, it's just stupid. You're asking for an accident. You're asking for a problem. So, you know, and the other thing is, you know, you have animals, you have breakdowns, you have, you know, stuff. I've seen things that to this day, I can't believe I saw them in real life right there in front of me. And you never know when that's going to pop out of nowhere. So we don't ride, at least it's not a good idea. Again, you do you, but it's not a good idea to ride like there's, it's your personal racetrack. A track is designed for high speed. They're great. I love them. I've dropped a couple motorcycles at a couple different tracks. I had a ball. I had a blast. I've done some straight line speed out on the road where no one was around, and that's a different thing. But when you start weaving in and out of traffic and you think you're Billy Badass, you are not impressing anybody, at least not anybody of importance. Your entire fan base is 14-year-olds that don't know how to ride a motorcycle. Congratulations. You're impressing absolutely no one of concern or importance. I don't know what else to tell you. So are videos like this popular? No. Do I care? No. I don't care. What I do care about, though, is that when you go out and you pull that stuff and then you start influencing these younger kids to go out and emulate you, you're filling coffins, man. So I hope you're happy with yourself if that's what you're doing. You really need to sit and think about what it is you're doing. I don't know what age of maturity you have to hit, maturity level. Maturity really isn't an age. I don't know what you have to hit. I'm looking for changes in the road conditions, including the road surface. So in this case, you can see we've got this blacktop that's, this fresh asphalt. Then we've got this older stuff. We're going to have some bumps. This is a pretty smooth running bike, and yet you can see us hopping, when we're hitting it. I'd really hate to do it on a bike that didn't have a decent suspension. So it's all, lane placement, I guess, is what we were talking about. I want to make sure that the vehicles around can see me. I don't want to crowd them. I want to make sure I've got plenty of distance between my front and their rear. People, well, if I leave a space, somebody will take it. And your point, nobody cares. Let them have it. We're sharing the road. Let them have it. Let them have it and move on to another day. I want to talk about merging. This has been covered to death. People have been covering this until they're blue in the face, and I don't understand what the problem is. Merging is not that difficult. In 99% of the states, it's the person who's merging, it's their job to get in this lane and get into traffic. It is not my job as the rider to allow them a space. Now, there are a couple, again, I said this in a video the other day. I know it's already been posted, so I sound like a dead horse, or beating a dead horse, I don't care. It's not generally the person's job to allow you to merge. There are some states that have a right to merge law, but for the most part, it is not them. You are expected to get up to speed in your merge lane and get out into traffic. Now, there's some common sense differences there, though. The truck that weighs 80,000 pounds and is hauling a bunch of commercial freight is more than likely on your average exit ramp or get on ramp is not going to be able to get up to speed before they come out. So how about we use a little bit of common sense and say, okay, if they're not going to have time to get out and they're merging on, let's go ahead and either take the left lane or slow it down just a little bit. Give them a few seconds to get out there. And once they take their lane, and if they're speeding up, okay, great, they got room, go ahead and get out and get around them. But give them a way to get in. If nothing, you're helping everybody else out. One, you're helping the driver that's trying to get on, and two, you're creating a buffer space behind you. Other people will get out in the left lane. So I guess if you are concerned that you're going to get what's the word? You're going to lose your pole position, I guess. I don't know who you're racing. But maybe, yeah, sure, don't do that. You'll lose the race with yourself, I guess. But, anything other than that, help them out. Give them a minute. It's not that hard. I want to take a second to talk about this passing on the right. If you're in the UK, reverse this. Passing on the right is, I can't tell you how dumb that is, especially from a commercial driver's standpoint when you're using that little mirror. Number one, most of the time, trucks are staying in the right lane because they're the slower vehicle, and that is the granny lane or the slow lane. The left lane, well, in this case it's an oncoming lane, but if we were on the highway, the left lane is the passing lane. That's the lane in which you pass. And you pass something, and then when you're not passing anything, you move the hell back over to the right lane. It's not that complicated. And I've seen guys on video out allegedly teaching you how to drive, and they're riding the left lane, and there's nobody around. There's nobody in front of them, nobody behind them, and they're running the left lane for 15 miles where they're talking to you. Get the hell out of the right or the left lane. Get back over to the right. Well, there's nobody out. I don't care. Get back over to the right. You're setting a bad example. And the reason that one of the reasons that we stay out of that lane, and I want you to think about it in this aspect, it doesn't matter whether it's a car or a truck, but I want you to think about it from a truck driver standpoint. That is called, the right side is actually called the blind side of the vehicle. And the reason that it's the blind side is because they can't see anything. They're relying completely on the mirror to tell them everything about what's going on the right side of that vehicle. Now, clearly, we don't have that problem on a motorcycle, do we? No. But we kind of have that problem in a car. We can glance over our shoulder and we can see, that there's see that there's stuff out there coming up, but you can't do that on a truck. On a truck, you have to use the mirror. So you're in the driver's seat. You're looking at the passenger window in the passenger side mirror. So if anything is over there and it's in the blind spot of that mirror, you are not going to see it. So I don't know why some of you guys expect truck drivers to be miracle worker ninja wizards or something that can just see everything around their truck. You got to be in that right mirror or they can't see you. And they're only looking in that mirror about every 5 to 8 seconds and before a lane change. That's it. Once they clear it, sometimes they check twice, but then they have to look at other places that are also blind spots, so they're not going to be looking for you. So when you do, here's the thing that really, 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 really drives me absolutely bonkers when I'm watching some of these these videos. The truck driver will see that the person is in the lane, right? They will totally see it. And they'll put their blinker on, and then they start to move over, and that person gasses on it to get around them on the right. And then you don't understand why the truck is still coming over. Well, it's simple. There's a little mirror in the passenger side door. Sorry, a little window in the passenger side door on most commercial trucks. Once they clear that lane and they put their signal on, they kind of figure nobody's going to be stupid enough to try and pass them on the right. So the last thing they do is they look ahead to clear that window to make sure nobody's right next to their cab, didn't sneak in on them while they were trying to move over. So they're not even looking in the mirror at that point. So you just signed your own death warrant if you rode up underneath where those tandems are at. You're getting turned into ground chuck if you don't maneuver. And then you're going to go up and you're going to yell at the truck driver. Why? You accelerated. I saw the video. I watched you do it. Now, if you're not accelerating and trying to pass them on the right, this isn't a problem. But it's why we put ourselves on the left around commercial trucks, especially. You really shouldn't be doing it next to a car either. It's pretty much just as dumb, but with a truck, I mean, you're literally asking for it. So don't turn around and get mad at the truck driver and start jumping up and down and screaming about how they cut that biker off. That driver cannot see you in the right gas on it when you're trying to block them in. And I know that's what you're doing. I'm watching the same damn video you shot or the same ones that you're commenting on, and that's exactly what's going on, is you're trying to cut that driver off. I don't know why. I don't care why, but that's exactly what you're doing. So just stop. Just stop. It's stupid. It's silly. Nobody likes it. Okay, what else can we talk about? I have started to discuss this passing on the right thing about 4 times, and it's very difficult for me to verbalize it. In a semi, you are trying to look and see everything that's behind you in 2 tiny mirrors. They're big when you're standing up next to them, but when you're actually trying to use them to see what's behind the vehicle, they don't seem like they're all that big. So we'll talk about all the other stuff. We've talked about mirror angles before. As far as passing vehicles on the right, you don't do it. And here's the reason why. When that truck goes to go from the left lane to the right lane, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. And yes, there's a lot of good reasons why that truck may have been over in the left lane and now needs to get back over to the right. If you are speeding up in the right lane, they are going to glance about twice, because they are looking all around the truck. They are getting ready to do a lane change, and a lane change is the most dangerous thing that's the most common dangerous thing that you do in a truck, is change lanes. They spend most of their time going down the freeway, and that's when most accidents happen, is when there's a lane change for a semi. So they're trying to clear that right lane. They look back, you're in a crotch rocket, whatever, you're on your bike, you're doing your own thing, you ain't bothering anybody, you're speeding, you're doing 25 over, 30 over. And they look, and you're way back there. They also have to look back forward. They have to look back right. They have to look and see what's coming up, what's in the lane ahead of them, and then they're going to glance again. And then as soon as and when they do that, they should have their turn signal on, and they are going to immediately start looking through the window on the bottom passenger side to make sure that nothing is in that blind spot before they start moving over. So when you see the turn signal come on, ding dong, I'm talking to you, the one that likes to gas on it and accelerate on the right. They are not looking in that mirror anymore. You are signing your own death warrant. Do not get pissed off at the truck driver because you accelerated in the right lane because you saw the turn signal. They don't hear your little bitch ass horn at all. They do not hear your little whiny rev bomb. They are 50 feet ahead, listening to a 400 horsepower diesel engine and probably some, I don't know, AM radio station. They don't even know you're there. All you did was launch yourself into a meat grinder. Don't be mad at them. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. You're the one that's screwing it up by passing them on the right in the first place, and second of all, gassing on it, twisting the wick when you see, oh, they're going to come over. No, that's my lane. Can't you see I'm here? Dude, you do you. But again, you're yeeting yourself into a meat grinder, so don't whine about it when they're scraping you up off the road. Of course, I guess you won't be whining about it. You won't be doing much of anything except your best imitation of road pizza. That's really all I have to say about it. I mean, you ride the way you want to ride, but you know, you're statistically increasing your probability of becoming something gross and deceased. So, good luck with it, I guess. I see people doing a lot of unsafe things. I've ridden a motorcycle for 30 years. I've ridden motorcycles for 30 years. I've been a commercial driving instructor and got a couple million miles out there on the roads and trucks. Did that for 18 years. I got burnt out. I literally got rid of my CDL when COVID happened. Basically, it was hard to get out of the house and actually do the thing at the license bureau, and it was going to cost more money. And I said, for what? I don't even use it anymore. So I got rid of it. I don't even have a CDL. But yeah, I did. Carried one for 20 years total. And I'll never drive another truck again because I absolutely hate it. Having said that, I taught a lot of people how to do it, and I did it for a long time. And I see a lot of people on bikes doing things around. I see a lot of people in traffic in general doing dumb things around trucks. I also see a lot of trucks doing things they know they should not be doing. And their attitude is just as bad as these crotch rockets. Let me tell you something. You know, that's my lane. I'm going to ride this person's ass in front of me to keep you from getting in front of me. I'm going to block you out of traffic. You know what? You're just as bad as the crotch rockets passing you on the right. I'm not going to argue with you. I used to be the guy that kept you from getting a job. So I don't care what your opinion is. You're wrong. If you don't have a 4-second following distance in a semi, don't argue with me. Look it up. 3 to 4 seconds is that's what they want you to have, and that's because you know damn well you can't get stopped as the rest of the vehicles out there. And we're in CDL land. You need to be able to stop that vehicle in about 700 feet. So what are you doing? Get off their bumper. If you are a motorcyclist and you think that I'm upset, you hear some of my rants and you think that I must hate motorcyclists worse than anybody else, let me be very clear. No, not even close. The worst drivers on the road that have their little attitudey-judy problems are commercial truck drivers. I taught them. And what they're doing in a lot of cases is completely wrong. A commercial truck driver in a Class 8 truck pulling 80,000 pounds with air brakes is the last person in the world that should be riding anybody's bumper. And when their attitude is, I'm going to step on the gas and block somebody out of the lane from getting in front of me because they should have saw the sign, because they should have merged, because they should have this, because they should have that. Yeah, great. Means dick all to me. You're the professional. You paid money for that license. You're getting paid to do that driving. That's what you're doing. And you're acting like a goddamn baby. You're acting like a little child. You're going to kill somebody, driver. That's what I got for you. You're going to kill somebody. Keep it up. Well, they should know. Yeah, they should know better. But guess what? You're the freaking professional. Why don't you pull your head out of your butt and act like it? I'm not going to baby you. You know better. They don't. At least they have an excuse to be stupid. You don't. Go ahead. As long as you stay in your lane, we're going to be all right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oof. We may have to get some air in that before it gets getting a little bit clinky. I'm not trying to knock truck drivers either. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm just less patient or lenient with them because they should know better. I mean, that's just flat out how it is. They should flat out know better. They're not. If you got an 80,000 pound vehicle, you know about how long it's going to take to get slowed down. And tailgating is just tailgating is stupid no matter what, but it's definitely worse in a commercial vehicle than it is in on a motorcycle or a car. I think in a lot of cases people just don't realize that what they're doing is affecting other people. I'm just being honest. I think that's a pretty large culprit in all this. The guys on the bikes that are doing the passing on the right, the guys that are doing the passing on the 90, 100 mile, 150 mile an hour, they don't realize that they're causing anyone else an issue. I think, or they just don't understand why it's a big deal. I guess is how I should say that. But from the truck driving, I can attest to it. You scare the hell out of a truck driver, and he makes a wrong input. Yeah, well, the driver shouldn't have done. Yeah, no crap, the driver shouldn't have done that, but he did. So he's reacting. It's what drivers kind of do is they react to things. They have to. And